Over the years, many times I've been asked, what are values? What do they mean? Now, we're all used to seeing values on drawings, calculations, structural calcs, and everything else. What do they mean? Lots of mathematics followed by a value. Well, I'll try to do my best to explain what it means. We have a number of values. Most common ones are U value. What does U value mean? A value just means that it's an increment of something or a measurement of a unit, the same as an inch or a meter is for distance. Right, U value. U value. Very simple. This is the one that we actually most used to, and we hear it a lot. We talk about U values all the time. What does your house, what does your product, what does your building do? What is the value of that? Well, the U value is usually what I've spoken about. Now, U value actually means rate of thermal transmittance. Actually means rate of thermal transmittance. What does U value mean? U value means the rate of thermal transmittance. Basically, all that means is a unit, which is going to be the U value, the unit, takes an amount of time to go through a given object. The amount of time it takes for an energy or a temperature, a heat to travel through an object or material is the U value. Your U value wants to be really low, because if you have a high value, what U value actually means that you've got a lot of energy passing through a subject or an object. If you've got a really low U value, that means that that energy is very slowly passing through an object or material. So therefore, that's U value, not to be confused with the others. They are separate units. We're going to go to R value. R value is resistance. If you remember resistance to R value, you're doing okay. Okay. Thermal insulance of a material or product. Thermal insulance means how much it's going to fight against and resist energy passing through it. So if we have an insulation and there's a energy or heat trying to pass through it, that rate that it passes through is the R value. That's what it's measured in. So we have the U value. We have a good low U value because the R value to the resistance of that loss of energy, that loss of heat, is high. That's your R value. K value. What is a K value? You don't often hear this. You mainly see it in structural calculations, or sometimes just in conversation when they're talking about what they need to accomplish. K value just means thermal conductivity. Conductivity is exactly what it says. If you have a piece of steel, like on the drawing here, an RSJ. RSJ is a piece of steel. That piece of steel will transmit or conduct heat very quickly. Now, the rate of that conductivity gives you your value, and that rate of value is your K value. So K value. The last one we're going to go is Y value. What is a Y value? You don't often hear this. That's because it relates to thermal mass. Thermal mass is something that we use within our buildings to make the most of solar gain or to absorb and store an ambient temperature or environment. Thermal mass is used in buildings to just that, to absorb energy, to absorb heat and hold on to it. And then when the ambient temperature or environment drops, it then releases that energy to help ameliorate and try and keep the atmosphere to a consistency. And that is your Y value. At the rate something absorbs energy, holds on to it, and releases it. So, in brief, U value. Your area is measured in U value, to how much energy is lost over a given amount of time through thermal transmittance. R value. Your R value is your insulation or your materials to retain that heat. So your R value is your resistance, is what's going to try and hold that heat, that energy in. That's the measurement of R value. K value. Thermal conductivity. Steel, Forest J's. Anything and everything that has two surfaces from outside to inside and is trying to transfer temperature through it, that is K value. So that's the steel. Thermal mass, Y value. Thermal mass, how it absorbs, stores and releases energy. They're your values. So each one is just a measurement of a particular action or reaction to heat or energy. That's it. They're your values.